perfect example of how the government should be regulating certain industries. For example, food safety. This is the example we're going to talk about. Because we don't want our kids or ourselves getting sick if the food is poisoned or is unhealthy, et cetera. You get food poisoning.
Or is pink slime.
You know, all these different things. It seems to be a core function of the government. Of course, the Republicans are against it. And so, and to be fair, it's President Obama's administration that is proposing this law, because there isn't a Republican proposal that President Obama hasn't fallen in love with, right? So in this case, it's the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and they have decided, hey, you know what? We should let poultry producers, these companies like chicken, turkey, et cetera, regulate themselves.
Oh, disaster.
Great, brilliant idea.
Because factory meat wasn't already disgusting. We're going to allow it to become even more disgusting.
No, that's exactly right. So there's a group that watches out for this, literally, it's called the Food and Water Watch. And they did a report to see, because already they've done a pilot program, the government has, to allow some companies to regulate themselves. So let me quote from the report. The average error rate for these types of defect in chicken slaughter facilities was 64%. And 87% in turkey slaughter facilities. And for one turkey slaughter facility, nearly 100% of samples found in this category were defective. 100%. All right, the report continues. Vast majority of non-compliance records filed for the 14 plants under the pilot was for, quote, fecal contamination found on the carcasses. And 90% of the ones that failed were because of fecal contamination. No, don't worry, they're going to regulate themselves. They're going to take fecal matter and smother it all over the turkeys and the chickens and go, eat this. How do you like this, huh? So that's what self-regulation gets. Senator Tom Harkin, who's on the Agriculture Committee, in fact, he's the chair of it in the Senate, said that this is, quote, a recipe for food safety disaster. Okay? Now, he's in the president's party, by the way. And of course, the Republicans and President Obama, as usual, agree. No. Let business take care of it. What would Senator Harkin know? Of course not. No, and what reports with the fecal matter all over the chicken and such? No. Ignore that. We got to figure it out. So why are they doing it? Here's the claims by the USDA. They say that it would save the USDA under $100 million over the next 3 years. Yeah, of course it would, because they wouldn't be doing their job. I guess if you don't do anything, yeah, it saves you money. And it says that it would save the poultry companies $520 million. Once again, since they wouldn't be doing food safety, yes, it would save them money. And that's why they're doing it, because those same companies buy the politicians who say, hey, you know what? Turns out we don't need to regulate you after all. And this is the most comical part. They claim that this will actually reduce poultry-related illnesses by 5,200 cases a year.
Come on. Where did they come up with that? They just completely made that up.
Of course they made it up.
It's unbelievable. By the way, like, what I don't understand is these politicians, like, I don't know if they know this. They live in the United States too, right? So are they into doo-doo chicken? Like, are they excited about it?
No, there's different rules for the top 1%. You think they're going to eat the doo-doo chicken? No.
But how do you, it gets to a point where it's hard to avoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by the way, you go out to eat, right? Like the top 1% does. Like they go to the best restaurants in Manhattan. Look, I know that those are like gourmet restaurants and the food's great, right? But you don't know what chicken they're using. They might say they're using organic, free-range chicken, but it could be the doo-doo chicken. So you know what? Eat up, bitch.
But you know, I read a separate article today about how the rich are now hiring their own private doctors, and that's not crazy or anything like that. Here's the crazy part. Some are building emergency rooms within their own houses. Like, because they wouldn't want to be with the riffraff in a normal emergency room. So why not build $1 million emergency room within your mansion? Okay, so they're not going to eat the doo-doo chicken. That's for us. They're going to find like a cleansed chicken. I don't know, but they found out because there's two different societies now. Now, for the rest of us, here's the reality about foodborne illness and how serious it is. Okay, you know that, and this is a stunning number. 1 out of 6 Americans suffer from foodborne illness every year. It results in 128,000 hospitalizations. Okay. And 3,000 deaths a year. look at the damage that it could do. You know, look, everybody's familiar with this. People get food poisoning all the time, and then you read in the news or you see it, oh my God, don't eat the spinach is full of this, and don't eat this and that, and oh, 3 people died in California, 2 people died in Illinois, etc. That's because they're not checking the food. They're not checking it, and then all of a sudden you die from it, and they go, oh, but it's okay. The poultry producers saved $520 million. Now, what did it cost us? This is the hidden tax. The overall cost is $152 billion a year in treating the foodborne illnesses that those people get. I mean, 128,000 people sick is a serious amount of sickness, let alone the deaths, et cetera. So even if the USDA numbers are right, the poultry farmers get to save, or companies get to save about $500 million, and then U.S. consumers pay $150 billion in costs. How do you like that for a trade-off? But we didn't buy the politicians. The poultry companies bought the politicians. And that's how our system works.